frickin' 64. Today I'm going to talk to you guys about the new Paladins patch and why I think it's not a good patch. Okay, so first of all, Essence. Many people perceive Essence as a bad system, saying that there are way too many currencies in the game, and some call it pay to win, so HiRez removed it. However, this new system that they are implementing, it's even worse. Why is it even worse? You're completely reliant on the RNG system of loot chests to get cards that drastically affect gameplay. At least in the earlier system, if you try your luck to get the cards you want, you either get them or eventually start getting more and more duplicates, which give you more essence that you need to purchase that you can use to purchase the cards you actually want. This system seems fair to me and a compromise, so HiRez can earn money off the loot boxes that some people buy while we still get the cards we want without excessive grinding. The pay to win argument for this was that since you can buy radiant chests with crystals, people with money could easily get all the good cards. However, these cards in the earlier system did not have such a huge impact on a game as this new system, which I will come to later. And if someone really wanted these cards, they could do the slight grind needed to earn radiant chests to get more duplicates and purchase this card. So the old system was not pay to win at all. In the new system, however, there are actual levels of cards. The more duplicates you get, the stronger your card becomes. This does have a giant impact on your game. For example, in Chazberry's recent video, he gave an example of Victor's Gunnery Legendary that at level 1 only gives 5% extra damage, while on level 5 it gives 30% extra damage. There's a whole 25% extra damage that this other Victor can deal against you and your teammates, and you're expected to compete with him? How is this even possible unless he plays like trash? At least in the old system, once you get the card that you want, you can decide how many points to put into it. Now it depends on how many duplicates you get, which makes it even more unfair to new players and free-to-play players. Okay, even if this level system were implemented, it would be okay if the grind was not too much and you didn't have to rely completely on the RNG system. But the truth is, the grind is way too much. In Kami VS's video, he does the math to show how many radiant chests on average are required to get these cards to such high levels. The results were like over 2,000 radiant chests or something. Let me tell you, I have over 200 hours on this game and I have not come close to this number in chests. It would take years to reach them in chests. But HiRez is implementing new champion chests that drop champion specific loot, so it will be easier to get that particular champion's legendaries and cards. I guess that will slightly balance it out, but I don't think it will be enough. Why won't it be enough? Because of keys. Keys allow you to boost chests to drop a certain type of loot. For example, the legendary key increases chance of getting a legendary. These can be bought with crystals and crystals with money, so therefore, yeah, pay to win. Okay, so even if these whales have such a high advantage, maybe if I do grind, I can purchase the cards I want. Nope. If they had at least left that part alone, where we could decide what to buy instead of completely relying on the RNG system, maybe it wouldn't be so bad. Since Essence is now gone, maybe I could buy duplicates with gold or maybe upgrade cards with gold, but no, I have to rely on this RNG system that has so little chance of dropping what you actually want and instead dropping the hundreds of other cards and skins in the game. So what exactly is HiRez doing? They have increased the grind time required to actually get cards required because you're completely dependent on the RNG system, and you can't earn essence or whatever is required to purchase the duplicates and purchase the cards you need. And they've also made it so that not having these cards at high levels makes a big difference in the game by adding this level system and changing the loadout customization completely. They've basically done the exact same thing EA has done, just on a smaller scale. They have done this so that they can farm the whales for money and have paid no regard to the community. So who will this affect the most? The casuals. The other day on iRecta's stream, I was talking to him about how HiRez is catering to the competitive players instead of casual. And he and many others disagreed with me and said it was the complete opposite. Okay, so let me play out a scenario for you. I tell my friend Bob to play Paladins as it is a really fun game. He decides, okay, my friend is playing it, let me try it out too. He isn't that great at FPS games, and as he first joins, he's pretty bad. He picks like Sky because of how she looks. He isn't that good mechanically, as in at like aiming and stuff, and he doesn't have any idea about any strategies required in this game, like team composition, roles of different classes, how to counter pick, etc. Most importantly, he doesn't understand the benefits of a good loadout. What would have happened in the old Paladins is that he would slowly learn about these strategies and build a strong loadout which would help counteract his lack of mechanical skill. That was one of the best aspects of Paladins and other games that other games like Overwatch didn't have. It places emphasis on strategy as much as mechanical skill, so non-skilled players can level the playing field somewhat with a loadout that suits them. At least that was what I felt when I first started, and I couldn't aim for the life of me. I looked up what loadouts pros were using and how they were playing them. I realized a loadout can completely change how a champion is played. I could be a super focused healer as Ceres, or an area denying damage champion with massive CC. Both required different positioning and playstyles, and honing these playstyles kept me interested in the game, and while I was improving my mechanical skills, they helped me outplay people in the low ranks who, even if they had similar or higher mechanical skill, didn't have an understanding of the game. There was a budgeting system where you had to allocate 12 points to the cards you wanted in your loadout, and you could choose which to allocate more and less to, depending on which provided you with greater benefits, which provided a depth of strategy that isn't seen in any other game. For example, I play 1v1 custom matches with my other friends who play Paladins when we're playing the same champion. My friends are much better than me at aiming, and yet I still beat them sometimes due to my loadouts that I tailor make for 1v1 situations and the items I pick. The pleasure I get from realizing I've already won based on the stupid loadouts my friends run and their bad item choices is just as much fun as doing a sick play of the game. However, in this new Paladins, these things don't matter anymore. Not only will players start off with a low tier card so that they can't build strategic loadouts and instead have to put everything at one point, the customization element is diminished greatly. Before, you got to choose your cards and how many points to allocate to them. There were many strategies built around having certain cards as your main cards at level 4, while having a card at level 1 that gave you this one advantage where you didn't need as many points, like for example Bomb King's Insta Poppy. Now basically it's being dumbed down and the customization is being ruined. The customization is what makes Paladins different, and HiRez is ruining it. Now going back to Bob in this post OB64 scenario, he goes into his first quick play game with his loadout, all with level 1 cards and a level 1 legendary. And he's matched against someone with a level 4 legendary and the meta loadout. He gets completely demolished as he doesn't have the skill, he doesn't have the legendary, and he can't even level the playing field by outsmarting this guy with a better loadout, as there is no thought required except picking the best cards. Now, what happens if he faces someone with a loadout with all level 5 cards? He will simply feel like quick play is completely unfair and then switch to comp. Now people are saying that this is HiRez's idea all along and they want to encourage people to play competitive games, so this is a good change. This is utter BS. Tell me something. Would you rather have longer queues on competitive or have a newbie join your match who doesn't have the mechanical skill, doesn't understand strategies of counterpicking and team composition that are extremely important in competitive, doesn't understand how to play more than 2 characters, and they only joined because they were sick of those high level whales with enough money to buy level 5 legendaries who were whooping their ass? That's what I thought. HiRez cannot just force new players or even long-time casual players who only play for fun or only play one champion, like those unranked level 17 willows you meet now and again, to just join competitive. They know that most of their player base are casuals, and they need to accept this and not make competitive harder than it already is by adding people who don't really want to play seriously. This leads me to the point that HiRez cares more about their casuals than the ranked players. This is obviously not true, as this new system does not support new players who are just joining and casuals who just play for fun. I understand why many of the high-ranked streamers don't see this as the case, as they don't see the problems faced by newly starting players. All of them have already climbed to the top and have mounds of essence and gold. This change won't affect their lives as much. They also don't see the perspective of casual players who don't want to play competitive at all, and how these changes will force them to do just that to have a fair game. I think because this card system change does not affect these famous high-level streamers as much, they won't have as strong a reaction as low-level players like me who are affected. This is also why I think HiRez isn't being blown apart like EA. Battlefront 2 is a new game where people have not yet had a chance to reach such high levels that these changes won't affect them, so everyone is getting angry. But in Paladins, there are people who have already reached such high levels that these changes don't affect them, and they aren't going to do anything about it. So they aren't going to do anything about it. And this is not to blame them, as obviously if these changes won't affect them as much, they aren't going to do anything about it. And HiRez, but the way HiRez is going right now, there are going to be dire consequences. Also, yes, I do realize that this is still in PTS and these things haven't actually happened yet, and that also might be why people aren't reacting. But we need to do something about this now before it goes live and ruins the game. There are some good aspects about this patch, like everyone getting the cards and no more essence, but if these changes are being applied, they need to think of a better way to balance the game out than this level system. So what do you guys think? Leave me a comment below, and I hope to see you in the next video. Also guys, I'm going to be making a video on the new legendaries coming out that I think might not be balanced, and that will be up in a few days probably, and I hope to see you guys there.